Hi students, this is Miss Bowman and I'm here to show you how to do 1-5 strategies for rational numbers. So once you get into the 1-5 assignment, you should land here and you need to read the script right here. And I'll read it to you if you would like. Mindy has been shopping and she's found some great deals on gifts for her friends. Sorry about the buzz notifications or the, sorry. Anyway, sorry about the notifications. She's bought 4 friendship bracelets and then 4 unique gifts. In this lesson, you will learn about division of signed numbers to help Mindy figure out the average amount that she spent on each friend's gift. Your lesson objectives are after completing this lesson, you will be able to say, I can divide integers with a non-zero divisor. I can use division to model and solve real-world problems. When you get into these, hopefully you already know this, but you need to, this is not the only slide here. There's 6 more slides. You can either go through them like this, or the easiest way is to just click the right arrow button up here. Okay, dividing signed numbers. Mindy purchased 4 bracelets at a cost of $3 each. The total amount of money she spent is modeled by this equation. 4 times -3 equals -12. Recall that multiplication is repeated addition, so 4 times -3 can be modeled as 4 groups of -3. There's a -3, there's a -3, there's a -3, and here's a -3. So when you do 4 times -3, it's the same as -3 plus -3 plus -3 plus -3, which you know to be -12. It could also be modeled using division. You could take the total of -12 and divide it by -3. And that would show that she bought 4 bracelets. Another way of looking at that could be division as repeated subtraction. So you could do -12, the total, minus 3 until you get to 0. And then once you see how many 3's you took away, it says -3 can be subtracted from -12 4 times. So that's another way to do it. From the multiplication equation, 3 times 4 equals 12, 2 division facts could be written. You could write 12 divided by 3 equals 4, or 12 divided by 4 equals 3. It just depends on which way you're trying to look at it. In the same way, the multiplication 4 times -3 times -12 could be used to write 2 division facts. You could write 12 divided by -4. I don't know why you do that because -4 never came into the picture, but anyway, that would equal +4 and, +3. And you could also do -12 divided by -3 and find out that you had 4 bracelets. I think this might be a typo. It probably should be -12 divided by +4 equals -3. I think they just misplaced the negative in that one. Okay, here's the table below to look for the rule for dividing signed numbers. And we talked about this in the meet. Notice that the quotients in the first 2 columns, these 2, they're all positive. And the quotients in the last 2 are all negative. So what is your rule? The rule is the same as it is for multiplication. When the signs are the same, the quotient is positive. Okay, so if you have both positive numbers, your answer is positive, or if you have both negative numbers, the answer is positive. When the signs are different, the quotient is negative. Okay, so if you have a positive and a negative that you're dividing, whichever way it's arranged, it's going to be a negative answer. And it says, look familiar, these rules are similar to the rules for multiplication. Okay, the next slide, dividing by 0. In the example so far, two integers have been divided and the denominator was never 0. The result of dividing two integers is a rational number. All that means is you're going to get a decimal or a fraction back. What about dividing by 0? There's no such thing as positive 0 or negative 0, so you cannot classify it as a signed number. There must be some special rule. Think about what would happen if Mindy tried to divide her 4 friendship bracelets among 0 friends. That would be sad if she had 0 friends. Since division is repeated subtraction, you've got 4 divided by 0. It could be represented as 4 minus 0 minus 0 minus 0. You keep doing it, but you're never going to get to 0. Turns out it will never happen. Each time 0 is subtracted from 4, nothing changes, and that's why division by 0 is not possible. Okay, then go to the next slide. Equivalent forms. When dividing, it doesn't make a difference where the sign is placed. For example, the 3 expressions below are all equivalent, which means equal or the same. So notice this one. That means the answer to this thing inside the parentheses is going to be negative no matter what. There's a video for you to watch. I'm not going to show you that, but keep going through your lesson. So practice. It says after spending the day shopping, she reviewed her purchases and wanted to know the average amount she spent on each friend's gift. Finding the average is an extension of dividing rational numbers. What was the average amount that she spent on each friend's gift? So what you would do to get the average, how many friends did she have? 4. What's the total cost? I don't know. You're going to have to add those up, and then you would take that total cost and find out how much money per friend. So you would divide this total by the number of friends she have. And they've got the check, but I'm not going to show it to you because I want you to do it. Don't look at these answers before doing your own problem, because you've got to learn. And the way you learn is by doing it and getting it right, or doing it and getting it wrong and then looking at what you messed up on. Okay? If you're just going to their work, they're the ones learning, not you. Anyway, next slide. Okay, lesson objectives. Now that you've completed the lesson, you should be able to say, I can divide integers with a non-zero divisor, and I can use division to model and solve real-world problems. Here's your vocabulary. You need to read these and make sure you understand. A rational number is a number that can be made from dividing one integer by another. The average is a result of adding all numbers and dividing by the amount of numbers. Summary for your notes. This is a good thing for you to copy down. Also, the examples that you had to do. You need to be copying those things for your test. There's also a link for a lesson review guide that you could print and put in your notes. I would copy it because writing it down is going to help you remember it better. All right. So once you get to the end of that slide, go to the next one, and it says you did it. You've reached the end of the lesson, and you're now ready to show what you know. Read each option to decide if you will work on this individually or collaboratively. Well, since we're in distance learning, you're going to do the individual one. So it says, please speak to your teacher about the options available to students to complete projects collaboratively. If you choose to work alone, you may complete project option 1. So you are doing project option 1. Okay? So everybody is doing project option 1. This one is a collaboration activity, and you are distance learning, so that is not an option. Okay? So I'm going to erase this. I think. Nope. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and erase it. Anyway, so here's project option 1 that we are going to look at. Sorry about the marks on the screen. Oh, I can click it. You might want to go ahead and read down here before you move on. It says, carefully read through all the instructions for the option you selected. Submit your work to 1-5 Strategies for Real Numbers. If you work collaboratively, never mind on that. If you're not taking it for advanced credit, proceed to Module 1 practice test. So that's for afterwards. So going back here, we're going to click this, and I guess I need to erase this. So here are the directions for project option 1. And you need to read through these. I'm going to read through them with you, but you need to read them for yourself so that you will understand it. It says, how's the weather? A, investigate the weather forecast in your city. So you would be looking, I'm assuming you're all in Myrtle Beach somewhere. So you would be looking at the weather in your city. Record the high and low temperatures that are forecast for the next 7 days in the table below. Forecast means the next 7 days from here forward. Okay. And you've got your table here. I don't know that you can print this out. I guess you could. You could also easily draw it or create your own using a Google Sheet. Anyway, in the columns titled Difference, you're going to record the change in the temperatures from the day before. To do this, subtract the previous temperature from the current temperature. Be sure to use positive and negative numbers as needed. For example, if yesterday's temperature was 70 and today's was 65, the difference would be today's minus yesterday's. You're always going to do the new minus the old, and that would give a -5. Now that's because the temperature dropped. Okay, so if your temperature is dropping, you should get negative change. If it's going up, you would get a positive change. Okay, so you write your high temperatures here, your low temperatures here. The reason they've got NA in these, that means not applicable, is because you can't, there's nothing to compare it to before for number 1 or for the first day. So you're not going to have a difference or a subtraction. So what you would do is you're going to put your high temperatures and then your low temperatures. And you're going to take this high and subtract yesterday's high from it. Take the new minus the old. And you would write that in here. Okay? Then your answer is going to go here. Okay? So for instance, if this situation up here was represented in the table, if 70 was the high and 65 was the high for the next day, you would do the 65 minus 70 right here in this blank. And then you would put -5 right here. You're also going to do the same thing with the low temperatures. Okay? So note the columns for day 1 subtraction. I just talked about that. You can read that. Part B, write a mathematical expression using the information from your table to answer the following questions. What is the mean change in the forecasted high temperatures? Remember, this can be found by averaging the values in the difference column. So it's asking you here for the average change in the forecasted high temperatures. So you're going to average the numbers you get in the difference column. Okay, that's how you're going to do that. It says write an expression, doesn't it? So you're going to write this plus this plus this plus this, you get the point, equals whatever it equals, divided by however many changes are there or differences are there. All right, and show your working steps. If your answer is not an integer, explain what 2 integers your answer is between. So in other words, if you end up with -2.6, you would say the average change was between, was a drop between 2 and 3 degrees. Okay. What is the mean change in the forecasted low? Same thing, except this time you're going to be doing the average of these numbers. Okay. What to submit? Name the assignment as follows, and instead of your name, you're going to put last name, comma, first name. So Smith, comma, Joe. In the assessments area, submit your work to 1.05 strategies for rational numbers. So that's what you're going to put in there is the document that you create. How are you going to create that document? Well, that's up to you. The easiest way is going to be for you to do a Google Sheet just like this. I'm not sure. Well, it looks like I might be able to select it and copy and paste it using Control C and Control V, which I don't know that it's going to work, but you can try it. I'll try it after this video. So what we already did that. The rubric, here is the rubric. Okay. So there is your rubric telling you everything that is required of you. And, oh, you can print this. So that might be the easiest thing is for you to print this and work on it and then take a picture. Or it says you can save it. So maybe you can save this document to your drive and then type things into it. I'm not certain. So that hopefully helps a little bit. But this is option 1. That's the one you're going to be doing. And then I can't get to how you submit it because I'm not the student. Okay. I'll talk about it a little bit in our meet next week, but I just wanted you to have this video available in case you wanted to get a jump on it this weekend. All right. Love you guys. Hope you're working hard and taking it serious. I'm seeing some sad work out there. People copying and pasting. That's called plagiarism, and that would get you off the lists for college, so don't do that. The other thing I'm seeing is people taking 5 seconds for instruction and wanting a retry because they bombed on the graded assignment. That's not going to happen. Okay, you've got to take this serious. This is not last spring. Last spring was an emergency situation. This was a choice, and the choice is to show academic integrity, and that includes being honest and working hard. And if you still don't get it, ask questions. Come to Google Meets. If you're coming to Google Meets, then you can ask for a private tutoring session. Okay? So do your work and let me know if you need something. Peace.